Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. I am your host, BX Bad Boy, as always. And today we're going to be talking about Marvel DC version 2. And today we're going to start off talking about SHAZAM. So today we're going to start about SHAZAM. Now I did some research and I can't find anything. Now don't get me wrong, I didn't scour the entire internet and I'm not exactly a professor. But I can't find anyone that directly is a comparison to SHAZAM, also known as Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel. From my research, Captain Marvel, aka SHAZAM, was Captain Marvel before there was even a Marvel Comics. Isn't that funny? Now, I'm not mad they don't call him Captain Marvel, though it does seem pretty stupid that they call him SHAZAM, which means he can't tell people his name. Because if he does, he turns back into the little boy. But I'm not going to argue with the simple stupidity of that idea. But I will say this. SHAZAM is supposed to be the Guardian, or aka the Wizard's Champion. And by the way, the Wizard's name is SHAZAM, if you didn't know that. Now, I'm going to state what I think about SHAZAM, and for the most part, SHAZAM comics, which are still DC comics, but the comics about SHAZAM. And feel free to tell me what you think. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And I don't mind being wrong nor corrected if I'm wrong. I like to be right. So, now, people think the movies are the comics. I have to disappoint those who think that. The movies are loosely based on the comics. Now, according to the comics, Mary isn't his foster sister. It's his blood sister, and they were separated as babies or youth, and they're supposed to be twins. She went to a rich family, he went to a foster family, and eventually they met up. Somehow they become in the same foster family, I think it was the story. But what matters most? The movie says they're foster sister and brother, and they had no knowledge of one another, and they're supposed to be twins. Now, the girl in SHAZAM, the movie, was a lot older, at least a lot older looking, than Billy Batson in that movie. So it's going to be hard for them to pull that twin thing off. But they still have an opening for them to be brother and sister by blood, because they didn't know about each other until they found each other. And according to the comics, she was able to use the same powers as him by saying SHAZAM. She also inherited the power because I guess as part of their bloodline, that's how they got the SHAZAM family. Now don't mistake SHAZAM family with the SHAZAM kids. The SHAZAM kids are from Flashpoint, the alteration to the timeline by the Flash. When the timeline goes back to normal, it's just the SHAZAM family, not the SHAZAM children. Don't mix those two up. And if I'm wrong, show me I'm wrong and I'll admit it. But from my research, they're two different things. In the alternate timeline, the SHAZAM kids all combined to become SHAZAM. Each one was imbued with the powers that Billy Batson was imbued all in one by SHAZAM. But in the alternate timeline by the Flashpoint, SHAZAM is broken up into, I think, 5 or 6 kids. When they say the name, they combine to become a beefed up SHAZAM. But in the original reality, SHAZAM gave the powers just to Billy Batson, so when he says SHAZAM, he turns into the normal looking SHAZAM. Now, they can still pull off the brother-sister thing. Now they'd have to change actors or actresses so they're about the same age, at least looking, because twins are the same age. They're not, oh, I'm 5 years older or I'm 2 years older. The child can't be a year older than the other one. They actually technically, I think the oldest was a day max. My uncle and aunt are twins. He was inside the womb after they extracted her. He was still in there, and I think he came out when they realized he wasn't a dead fetus. Not to change the disgusting subject, they found out that he was there and he was still alive. So technically, he's younger, she's older, but it don't work out that way. Anyway, so they have to look very similar in age, where you can't argue. Oh, she's 5 years older than him. And Mary in the movie, however, looks to be between 3 and 5 years older than Billy. That won't work for the storyline. Them being brothers and sisters, yes. Twin sister and brother, no. Now, the Shazam family that you saw in the movie, however, also isn't the same Shazam family from the comics. From my research, there's three. Shazam, the sister Shazam, I forget what her name is, and Shazam Jr. I don't think that, from my research, I didn't see any other Shazam. If you know of any other actual Shazams, let me know. So, the Shazam family you saw in the movie was a play on the Shazam kids and Shazam family. Because in the Shazam kids, it's a bunch of kids that come together to become Shazam. In Shazam family, there's three variations of Shazam. Shazam, I forget what the girl version is, and Shazam Jr. But they're all three different Shazams. And in the alternate universe, it's all the kids become one Shazam. So the bunch of kids, individual Shazams. So they took the idea and they made those foster kids into individual types of Shazams. I can't be mad at that play on the storyline, but it's not official. It's, again, a play on the storyline. Just like my research, the first adversary of Shazam wasn't whatever that character was in the movie. I don't even think he ever fought that guy, but I'll have to do more research on that fact, but I wasn't worried about looking up him. I know the first adversary is Black Adam. Now, Black Adam was the original champion chosen by Shazam, but he abused the power that was given to him, go figure, and he was cast out, I think, 5,000 years into space, and the Shazam wizard was looking for the champion to take on him to get rid of him or save the humanity from Black Adam. So he eventually found Billy Batson just in time, of course, just in time to turn him into Shazam to fight Black Adam, like similar to the movie. Black Adam believed, because he was the most powerful person at the time in existence, that everyone that was weaker than him was meant to be ruled by him. Similar to the cartoon animated movie. And Billy was to stop that, as well as be the champion of the wizard to protect mankind from the 7 deadly sins. Therein comes their play on those 7 deadly sins as characters in the first Shazam. From my understanding, I don't know, I have to do some research. I didn't really care to look into that just yet. The Black Adam movie, starring what I can see, The Rock, I think is going to be his origin story. The second Shazam, I don't think is going to encompass him or not. I didn't look into it because I'm more talking about the comic. But I'm bringing up the comparison because some people had complaints that it wasn't like the comics. It's not supposed to be. I mean, we like it to be, but it doesn't make for good cinematics sometimes to go by the story. And plus, I don't know, some guy felt like creating a character for Billy to fight. Anyway, now Shazam is a magic being. The one thing that Superman's the weakest against. Superman has adversaries that can kick his ass, but he's not weak to them. They eventually got to pound him down, or they're equal in strength, so it'd be like two normal humans fighting. But when he fights anybody with magic, it's like one of his biggest weaknesses. Which it does make some sense to give Superman some kind of weakness. But magic, really? And for the most part, the magic is lightning bolts. So is that magic or science or weather? Either way, those lightning bolts put a nasty little dent on Superman. And that's fine. So, he is an orphan kid who earns the privilege of being Shazam. He gets essentially kidnapped. Oh, now I remember. I'll go back to that in a second. What I remembered. In instance, he gets into this futuristic subway car similar to the movie and gets transported to Shazam. How his sister got the powers, and don't quote me, I'll have to look it up. Give me a second. I mean, I planned on looking it up, and that was pretty dumb of me not to. His sister got into the same car as him. The same train car at a different time. Give me a second and I'll add it to the screen so you guys can see it. So she, from what I read, she got into let's see, that it right there. Yep. Okay. So let's see. Let me shrink me. And then we go over here. We go down. Scroll down. See if that didn't mess things up. It didn't help either. Okay. Well, I'll read it and we'll just go from there. But this is the origin stories of her. Mary Batson was a long-lost twin sister of Billy Batson, also known as Heroic Shazam. She and her brother Billy were orphaned as young children. She ended up in the care of a wealthy Broomfield family. Years later, once Billy was already the heroic Captain Marvel, now known as Shazam, he finally met Mary at a contest being held at the radio station where he worked. W.A. Wiz Radio. Cute, especially since Wiz Comics created him. Not long after, Mary was kidnapped for ransom money and was saved by Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. Wondering if she could access the powers of the Wizard Shazam like her brother, she uttered the magic words and she too transformed into DC superhero and started adventuring as part of the Marvel family. So I was mistaken on that part too. But I remember her just using the words. No one's perfect, right? So that is her short story about her, which technically would still be a story about Shazam, but Shazam Jr. and Shazam already existed long before she did. But they didn't give her a name. Let me just double check real quick. I know I didn't see a name. Oh, yeah, it says Mary Marvel. Drawing her lightning powers from the same magic powers that Shazam. Mary Marvel, also known as Lady Shazam. Okay, there we go. That answers the question. Lady Shazam. There's a lot to be said about Shazam. He is a boy up here, even as Shazam. You would think that he would mature when he shed Shazam because his body matured, but his mind stayed the same. Now, I'm not mad about that idea because what makes him such a great superhero is that his mind is still pure and innocent to the degree of, he doesn't want to hurt anyone. So I respect that as, the storyline. And plus, to keep his personality, you would have to, you would have to keep him as the kid, which he was originally. Now, they say he has magic powers, but I don't recall them tapping into much besides lightning bolts, strength, and speed. Lightning is not necessarily the only thing you can call magic. It teleports some magic, make a magic hat appear. I'm only going to have to sit there and say they mean he's powered by magic. In essence, how Superman is powered by the sun. Which would be better if they put it that way, but they said he has magic powers. But it's not the same thing. Now, before I continue, please subscribe and comment below and like or dislike, whichever you like. I could use the help building the channel up so we can do more. My father is still in the hospital. I'm going to go see him tomorrow. So tomorrow's episode that I'll be recording for Thursday and or Friday, I might do one every day since I did one yesterday. I'm doing one for Wednesday, but I'm doing it on Tuesday. And I did Mondays on Sunday. So keep an eye out. I'll definitely put up a post about it on either Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook all at the same time. So I'm going to go see what's going on with him. He's still strapped to the bed. Please still wish him and pray for his speedier recovery. And I'll let you know tomorrow's video when I record it what happened. For those of you who had nice things to say or thoughts, I thank you. And for those who had nothing to say, I understand it's tough looking at your father in a hospital bed strapped to it like some kind of psycho. It's not his fault. It's an infection in his leg that got into his bloodstream, went to his brain, made him delusional and hallucinate. He was fine the day before, and then it took its toll on him. But back to the good things about Shazam. He originally was called Captain Marvel, and then Marvel came out with Captain Marvel, and I guess for argument's sake they made it Shazam. I'm not mad at that, but like I was saying in the beginning of the video, how do you tell people your name without activating your powers or deactivating them? It just seems silly. like I was saying, I don't know what kind of magic powers he has, and like I said, I think it's powered by magic energy, which makes more sense to me because I have never seen him do any magic tricks, and that's being funny since he doesn't exist. Um, I don't know much about Shazam Jr. They don't do much about him, I don't think. They definitely don't make him into the comic book series, the animated movies or cartoon. And the difference is one's a cartoon for TV, one's an actual like movie, but it's animated. And they don't talk much about him in any DC stuff other than comics. I have to look into him next. Um, and I'll look more into Mary. But I I don't think there is a comparison in Marvel. At least not an official one. Like me and my brother were talking in episode one of this series, and we were talking about Superman's um, answer in Marvel. So I think his name is Hyperion, but I didn't do a great deal of research. I'm not going to argue with that one. But every ounce of research I did on Google and DC and Marvel, there's no legitimate equivalent to Shazam. Like there's a legitimate equivalent to the Flash, Green Arrow, um, Hawkeye. For those of you who don't know, I don't think there's an equivalent to the Hulk yet. I have to look into that next. Um, but I didn't find any. And actually, sites that mention the question, it says no answer yet. I'll look into his equivalent later. Um, and I even asked my brother about the equivalent to him, and we'll throw up the comparison and see what my brother has to say about the equivalent to Shazam. But Shazam is not exactly one of the more popular characters. Like he's not as popular as Superman, for instance, or the Flash, or even the Green Arrow, or wow, Green Lantern. I knew there was another green. I couldn't think of the word that comes after. Boy. But on that note, I'm gonna have a good night. It's 9:43 on October 6th, 2020. You have a good night, and there'll be more to follow as I promised. This series is far from over because there's a great deal of characters. But please subscribe and like or dislike, comment, tell me what you think about what I had to say, and maybe I'll get you on the show and you can voice your opinion for all to see. Or we'll just go back and forth in the comments. And more on Shazam next time. Peace. And for those of you who are listening on Anchor or anywhere else, please hit the support and give all the help you can. I'd greatly appreciate it. Our channel would greatly appreciate it. It would give us the opportunity to do more and give you more content. We need some help. I'm not going to act like we don't. Any bit will help, and we'll do our best to give you what you want to listen to. Feel free to comment and let us know, and we'll do our best to meet whatever it is you want to listen to, and inform you of when that happens, when we put up that episode for you if you want to listen to that, or once the Patreon page is up and running, also give you that and get special treatment there too. More to come on the Patreon page. Right now it's still in motion, but as soon as it's up and running, the link will be in the descriptions, and we'll give you more details on that. On that note, have a good night. Thank you, and I love you guys for listening, and hope that I either made your day or let you know that there are human beings out there that aren't Donald Trump.
Peace.